Sometimes discipline him. And patiently waiting. And the question, what was the question? Why? 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 I would ask myself. Will my 4 children, why should this one come out and behave in the manner that is behaving? Not all of them. Why? And I really focused on him. The rest is history. Because maybe we'll come.
Hello. Oh, welcome back to Anchored 619. We're so happy as always to have you watching, tuned in to this program. My name is Cordelia, and today we have a very, very exciting guest with us today. I don't know, I'm sure some of you that follow have watched Amon's story in episodes 12 and 13. He shared his story with us and his journey to overcoming alcohol and drugs. And today we have his father with us, and I'll just let him introduce himself. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Cordelia, for the invitation and for this opportunity to share the experience of my relationship as the father of Amon. Mwesigwa Katonene. Some people may already know my name is Yona Mwesigwa Katonene, formerly an Anglican bishop of Western Kore. Currently, I'm involved in a different type of ministry as the ecumenical accompanier of the All African Conference of Churches, the Nairobi-based All African Conference of Churches. The accompanier for South Sudan, based here in Uganda specifically. I have the ministry among the South Sudanese refugees, both who live here in the urban center in Kampala, and those who live in settlements mainly in northern Uganda. I'm married to Mama Kanoni, Evida Shimil. We are blessed with 4 children. One of them went to be with the Lord. We have grandparents, children. And we were blessed with 1 daughter.
Wow. Yes, that's Rachel. Yes,
that is Rachel. That is our only daughter.
Oh wow, that must be interesting. She must be really protected and by the brothers. So back to our story here. Amon, we had an opportunity to spend a year with him here, and he's quite a special character. What was he like as a child? Where was he born? Who is he? You have first-hand information. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Amon was also a special child to us as parents, and in the whole family. Among our 4 children, he is the last born, and therefore he had, in a way, special attention. It's always said that the firstborn and the lastborn are given more attention, and particularly me as the father. As we grew up, I know, like 1.5 years, 2 years. Amon had special love for me. I didn't know why. If I'm going to travel, normally when you have children, you want to leave the home. Some of the children really want to cry to go with you. So was Amon. when I want to travel, I have to find a way of getting people to take his attention so that I can go. Otherwise, he will be crying all the time. So I had a special relationship with Amon. He grew up very well, and many people liked him. Very good looking. He was born in Nairobi. At that time, we were living and serving in Nairobi in a ministry of the Christian lay centers. It was operating then under the Oracle Conference of Churches in Nairobi. He was born in Nairobi Hospital, and he grew well. And even when he was time to go to the nursery school, he went to a nursery school in Nairobi, and he was liked. One of special things that we remember about Amon when he was in Nairobi in a nursery school, we developed, my wife and I developed a special relationship with his teachers. The nursery school was called St. Christopher School. It was both a pre-primary school and a primary school. And one incident happened that somebody wanted to kidnap him because he was a very good looking boy. And because of the relationship we had with the teachers, even the gatekeepers. So this gentleman comes at a time where parents come to pick the children, and he said, "I'm coming to pick Amon." And I said, "Who are you?"
Who are you?
And he begins answering questions. They realized that this man was not a good person, and he was put inside. They called the police. They phoned us, and they took him to the police. And we wondered why our son. There was this plan to kidnap him, and then later on we went to Harare in Zimbabwe. So he left school in Zimbabwe. Actually, when he was finishing the nursery school, and then he had to start now in a new school in Harare, Zimbabwe. He went to a boarding school, which was a kind of mixed school for whites and blacks in Zimbabwe. Good school, good boarding school. And he studied there up to P7. We still have a very good relationship with Amon. And when he was finishing P7, our time and ministry in Zimbabwe was coming to the end. We planned, and we didn't want him to start school senior 1 in Zimbabwe. Then somewhere when he's like in senior 2, we have to relocate him to Uganda. So we thought, oh no, I think he should come to Uganda. Also, his elder sister, the sister, also was finishing senior 4, and we both of them, we said they should now at the next level they should come to Uganda. So when they finished their, he finished P7, and our daughter finished senior 4. We made arrangements. We came here and went through UNEB, doing the what they call the equivalent. They had done the exams in Zimbabwe, and they came. Both of them had excellent results when they were equipped to the Ugandan standard. Our daughter had like 80, 1,1,1,1,8, and I think he had like 5 according to the Ugandan standard. So he qualified to go to any school. Our daughter went to Gayaza. For him, we said maybe we take him to a private school, London College. And he went. So he stayed there one time. And that time we said, but London College, we don't know many people here. We decided to take him to Ntari because he had qualified actually to go to. And so that's where he started senior one. And as he was there, I think that's when the problem started. Maybe I can stop there for the time being. We think that because it was like 2 years before we came back, during that transition of we living in Zimbabwe, Amon Retu was okay. She coped. She coped. And she's a responsible person now. But I think Amon at that tended could have made a mistake to bring him to Uganda, especially to Ntare School. Well, whenever we reflect, maybe if we had left him at London College, but we thought Ntare School is the school. But I think that transition, and the Ntare School has a culture where they assume everybody is an adult. And I think that's where the problems with Amon started.
Yeah, because I think he also mentions it in his story that that transitioning played quite a big role in the path that he took after that, you know. But I wonder, was it because maybe he didn't get a briefing about it? I don't know if you remember whether you tried to explain to your children that, you know, we are shifting and maybe a few things will be different. Don't expect them to be the same. I don't know if he came home and shared maybe things that were going on at school, or if it was just one of those things that as a parent you find out later.
Yeah, we thought there was what we want to call a cultural shock. Zimbabwe then was not the present Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe the life for most people could be like described maybe as a kind of life of people who live in the first world. He was in a secondary school where bed sheets are provided, where they even base with hot water and everything, and then they're using flush toilets. And now I think he had grown up in that kind of environment. Then he comes here, go to a pit like it. So that could have been a cultural shock. But I think that would not have been a problem at all, because later on you can adjust. We had prepared them that they need to adjust the new life. And maybe the conditions that they were living in, away from parents. Visiting, we used to visit them every time of in Zimbabwe, in the Zimbabwe schools then, they had a system. Every 3 weeks you were visiting the kids. Also, but I think Ntare had no special day for visiting. But then we were like detached. Of course, we left him with relatives who did their best. And we appreciate, but I think he felt that love from parents. He was detached from it, and then I think that freedom, the devil took advantage of that freedom with the elder boys, maybe taking him to places. Because in the school you could leave anytime. You are left at that time. It was I don't know whether the system has changed, but it was then assumed that you could go in, go out. That's as we reflect, that could have been the problem, that experience. That he could not easily adjust, and then his response was negative.
So this problem starts, and I think it's at Ntare where he gets his first expulsion.
Yes.
For going out with some boys for soccer.
Yes, exactly.
So at that point, did you think anything, or you just thought, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Yeah, we thought it was exactly. We thought maybe it was wrong immediately, because I myself personally went to Mbarara High School, and as much as we had freedom at Mbarara High School, it was not the same like the freedom, because freedom must be there with
Restrictions.
because he was still real to a certain extent an infant after P7. And so we said, then I said, then I think the best thing I should do is to take him to Mbarara High School. And then I took him to Mbarara High School. And but I think the habits he had acquired at Ntare School, and Mbarara High School being close to Ntare, it did not help much. My experience of Mbarara High School is that if you wanted to go out, first of all, you would be having a permission, and then you must go in the school uniform, which was different from Ntare School. And then but then the habits didn't change. So he started again escaping from school at Mbarara High School, and problems became more and more. One beautiful thing is that even if we left him at Ntare, we established relationships with the teachers, particularly the headmaster. In Ntare School, for example, we had a special relationship with the headmaster. Then the late Humphrey now, who received him, whom I had known even from my childhood days, because he comes from our Bushin in Humbi. Right, that's where he came from. We started together at Makerere University. We were in the same, okay, not the same class, but during the same time he was at Makerere. That's the time I was at Makerere. So he really took him as a parent, and he did his part. So was Mbarara High School. But the habits which he had prepared didn't seem to go. Going in wrong companies. We came later know that he could drink, and it was a disturbing experience. So he couldn't cope in Mbarara High School. So I don't know very much the border again. We had to, by the time he went to Mbarara School, we had already come home from Zimbabwe. And shortly after we had arrived from Zimbabwe, we came back 2004 from Zimbabwe. I think that then in 2005 I was elected now bishop. So after I was elected bishop, now the news goes all over that also has become a bishop. Even the kids who did not know him came to know him. Oh, this is the son of Bishop. And I think a lot of attention was brought to him. How he responded to it also could have contributed while he was still at Ntare. That treatment he was given, I think he felt he was somewhere high, not an ordinary person now, because everybody begins to go, oh, this is the son of the bishop. And every time I reflect about this, I remember a letter I received from a friend of mine in Ghana, in my ecumenical work. I didn't say a little bit about my ministry in the ecumenical ministry, but he wrote me a congratulatory message. I thank God you got news that you become bishop. And then he said, he is not even an Anglican, he's a Presbyterian minister, but we had worked together in the ministry of especially Christian lay centers. And I did not know what he was saying, but he said, be careful that now that you become a bishop, the devil is not happy. It is be ready to be attacked by the devil. I didn't know what he meant. And the devil could attack you from any corner, even from your family. Well, at that time I did not know what he meant. But that experience of him being elevated, I think the wrong groups started approaching him, and I think initiating him to habits that are not normal. So when I agreed, in fact, even some teachers at entire school, we had entrusted the teachers to him, and we could talk regularly. Entire school is not far away from our home, and we, some of the teachers, we knew them personally, and they did, so they would give us updates. So we realized that Mutari would not become the right place. Actually, by leaving Tuntari, he was not actually naturally expelled. It did not pass. The person well, he was a very brilliant boy when he was in his initial stage. But he could not pass, I think, because of not taking, he was all the time missing classes, not attending, going out with wrong groups. But then, some of them were mature, they would go and come back and study. But for him, he wouldn't. And then he didn't pass. So they said, you would report. He would repeat. And I think it hit him. How can I cannot report. And also as parents, we thought maybe his self-esteem would be affected psychologically. And so we agreed that why don't I take him to another school? And that's how he moved actually to Mbarara High School, thinking that even Mbarara High School would help. But like I said earlier on, it didn't help. So in Mbarara High School, it became worse. I established a relationship with the teachers, we were monitoring him, and eventually we had to agree that he leaves Mbarara High School. And then I took him to another school, now Chitunga High School. Again, those schools were, Mbarara School Act was not under us, but Chitunga was under Western Korea. This new diocese was not there. So we went to Chitunga, but still there was no change. The story is long.
I know, because when he was telling the story, we lost track of the schools.
Yeah,
he was
exactly.
saying there were like 10 schools.
Yeah, I've taken him away from Chitunga. Again, things will not work. Again, with the cooperation of the teachers, I had to bring him to the Kampala school. He was in Naria, he was in Seta, he was in Namiyango. We tried all schools, but eventually he finished his O level and even went to A level.
So all this time,
Yes.
what is going through your mind as a father, as a leader of your home? All this time, you're all, because you also, he's going through his own emotions, yes, the transitions, your change of status and all that, but now what was going on for you as a believer in God, as a father? What was your experience on your side?
Yeah, it's a troubling experience. And maybe, for lack of a better word, a very painful experience. The relationship of a parent and a child is so important. Especially me being a bishop in the diocese. And I had a special ministry in my diocese, actually throughout my life, of youth ministry, because that was even my first ministry when I was first ordained in the Church of Uganda. I was leading the youth and students in the province. I was as the provincial, because as the provincial youth and students secretary. And from time immemorial, the youth ministry has been close to my heart. So close. I've grown, now I'm an elder, but have remained young at heart. And so the ministry of young people, I'm very passionate about youth ministry. Very passionate. The young people love me so much, they can rub shoulders with you. And that has been my experience through my youth ministry. As a priest, as even bishop. So as bishop, then I had a constituency. I had it nationally and even internationally, because I was involved even in the global youth ministry at the World Council of Churches, or at the Office of Churches, the World Student Christian Federation. And I said, no, this is the time now in my diocese that I must put a lot of my energy and resources. And we ordered even the budgeting of the diocese that a big percentage of the budget, I think, if I could remember, we were spending close to, at that time, maybe 130 million on youth convention. As but and organizing the young people. So every January, and the youth conventions, by the way, are still going on. And every January, we are having close to 15,000 young people at JiraniHood here. And I think you had already left JiraniHood, but if you ask some of the girls who are still, many of them, after 4 days, they will be staying at JiraniHood. And I'm doing that kind of exciting ministry. And I want my son to be there. But sometimes he would come and sit at the back. He's just doing like this. He cannot even sit in the front. And you want him, even the mother wants him to sit in front. He doesn't. It can be very painful experience. But throughout all that, I never left him. I kept showing him love, and it's not easy, you know. I had an experience some time back in Mbarara High School, and I'm a bishop, but I have a relationship with a teacher, a deputy head teacher actually, and we are saying, what can we do? We look for him in the dormitories. Then we know there are certain places where these people hide. Can we go there? And I have to lower myself to go in those places because of the love I had for him. And I went there. So I did not mind what maybe even people could say a lot. But I said, I know I have to continue loving this boy. Even go out of my way to be there for him. And that I did, pay fees, and he does not study, I have to pay more fees before I could give him fees. But then when I realized that some fees will not be paid as I had given him, then I would pay fees directly. And I went all the way and showed him love. I did not run away from him throughout that. It was not easy, I mean, to answer your question. But I had to keep praying, loving the person, and not being tired to really to speak to him. Sometimes discipline him, and patiently waiting. And the question, what was the question? Why? Why? I could ask myself. My 4 children, why should this one come out and behave in the manner that he's behaving? Not all of them. Why? And I really focused on him. The rest is history, because maybe we'll come to that.
Did you ever question God? Did you ever think, Mukama ulikuchi?
No, I used to ask God, why? Why it was painful. I could not fully comprehend.
Did you ever question your parenting style? Did you ever think, have I not done enough? Am I doing a bad job as a parent? Did you ever question yourselves?
Yeah, it would sometimes come. Because in my ministry, I used to travel a lot. And now, even when you are a bishop, most of the time you are moving from parish to parish, from meeting to meeting, from attending people to attending people. So I would say, is it possible that we have not, as parents, given the attention that it should? But of course, we would say we've done our level best, but we would say maybe the demands of our ministry too could have had an impact on him. But then we would go say, but why only him? Why only him? And we would always go back to that cultural shock experience that he was exposed to before maybe he matured.
But you also know we respond differently to the things that happen to us, because it's like for some people, when you shout at them, someone may want to shout back, another person may want to just keep quiet and walk away, another person may just keep. So it's possible that the other children were also dealing with the same. They just had a different way of dealing with it, Yeah. So
yeah, but certainly that was there. Would raise that question and would not run away from that reality that the demands of the ministry, how you balance matters a great deal. But two, would not run away from loving him, praying for him, and knowing, at least personally, at no point did I forget the testimony from my Ghanaian friend. The devil is going to fight you. And probably that's what helped me and kept me going. Because I realized this was the work of the devil. If I were to narrate his graphic details of his experience, which I don't want to go through, I think you would ask yourself why. Then I had no question in my mind that the devil is attacking me, is attacking my ministry. And wants my son to go through this so that the work will do. If you cannot look after your own son, how can you tell us that you are helping other young people, especially the youth?
hello, this is Anchored 619. We're so glad that you have followed us all this while. If you're new here, please subscribe, click that notification button. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. You don't want to miss any of our episodes.